Coming up on The Talk.
We were childless for 5 years.
Joining us today is Margaret Abuktsa, and this is her story.
The doctors didn't really know where the problem was. So when we went to see the neurosurgeon, he just looked at the films and then told us, you have a tumor.
Wow, that's crazy.
Adding to that, she had 5 years of childlessness that was caused by this particular health problem.
Over time, I've come to realize whatever we are going through is predestined by God.
Yeah.
And sometimes, even in the suffering, there's a purpose and a reason.
There's a reason.
And out of it, the pain always has a purpose for it. And this has been my message, that you have a pulse today, be grateful.
Yeah. Hello everyone, how are you doing? Have you ever wanted to meet someone in your life just to understand them, to know who they are, to understand their journey of life? Join me today on The Talk with Rosalia as our friend and our visitor today takes us through a journey of her life, a journey that has made who she is today, and a journey that has taken a change in her life. And I'll let her introduce herself and tell us who she is before we embark on that particular journey. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rosalia. My name is Margaret Abuktsa Vidolo. I wear many caps. I am a wife. I am a mother of 2 daughters. Professionally, I also work in one of the parastatals as a civil engineer. I am an author. I am a coach. I coach women who are going through life-threatening illness to have hope, be resilient, and thrive. I also do inspirational speakings and any other engagements just to inspire people, because I'm an agent of being resilient. No matter what you're going through, no matter the status of how things are, when you have hope and hope in God, there's always a better tomorrow for you. Thank you.
That is great. That is really great to hear that, Margaret. Now, today, I want you to take us through your journey. One particular journey. I know you have many journeys. We all have a lot of them. But today, I want us to take us through one particular journey. A journey that you took of illness, a journey that transformed your life, a journey that at some point even made you childless for 5 exact years. Can you take us through that journey, please?
Thank you, Rosalia. And as I've just said, my life is a life of resilience. When we got married, we just got married. We courted with my husband and got married just like any other couple. And we settled in. And year 1, the baby was not coming, but that was not a worry per se, because it was kind of honeymoon. But now come year 2, year 3, people on the street started asking us, you guys, where are the babies? You know, in the African society,
Yeah.
immediately you're married, the next thing people look at is, when are you bringing us the baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were childless for 5 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yes. But other than just it being that way, I had visited the hospitals back and forth, and the doctors didn't really know where the problem was. So one doctor kept telling me to go to another, and back and forth. So that was the journey for the 5 years.
So you want to tell us that you couldn't have kids for 5 years, yet when you go to the hospital to determine what the problem is, the doctors couldn't tell what is the problem. If any case, maybe they could say you are still able to get children.
Absolutely true. Again, because unless you see a specialist, Because if you go to a physician, he will check all your body organ system. You carry the test, and they'll tell you all is well.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I went to a gynecologist who took some time with me, but again, she could not figure out really
What exactly
what
is the
exactly
problem?
is it. She could not connect the dots. But at least out of her, we had some ray of hope, because initially she gave me drugs. First of all, she just said, you're having a hormonal imbalance. And sometimes we spend very few minutes at the doctor's room. So when you're told this is a hormonal imbalance, go use these drugs, period. That is it. So you religiously move out, go start taking your pills. So I did that for a while,
Okay.
and still
There was no change.
there was no change. And then she suggested that you need to do a CT scan.
On the womb?
No, on the brain.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how she was connecting, because actually what would happen is I would have milk in my breast even if I wasn't breastfeeding. That
Oh,
was one
that's-
of the signs.
And you are not pregnant.
I
yet
was not pregnant.
You have milk in your
Yes.
breast. Okay.
Yes. So I would say she was led probably by God, because out of it now, she recommended I do a CT scan
On the hand.
on the
brain.
head.
Okay.
Yes. When I did it, she looked at it and then she said, it's not clear. So you need to take it at a higher level. The year was 2009.
Okay.
That's when MRI was just the innovation of MRI.
It was just being introduced.
Yes, yes, especially in Kenya. But then I didn't have a job,
Okay.
because by then doing an MRI, it was 20,000.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
expensive.
that's expensive. And there's something else they usually add on it to make it clearer. They call it with contrast.
Okay.
That one would cost 25,000.
So a total of 45,000.
No, a total of 25,000 if it
Okay,
is with
so it's
contrast.
20
And then plus
Okay.
5,000.
All right.
But here I didn't have a job. We are newly married. Every marriage has a starting point. Yeah, and many a times money is usually not there. But out of it all, somehow I got a job. And when I got a job, one of the benefits was having a medical scheme.
Okay.
So immediately I got the job while I was still at probation.
Okay.
I went in for the MRI. Now, when I brought back the MRI to the gynecologist, she said, no, this one now you have to take it to a neurosurgeon.
Wow.
So you can see how things are moving, and you're wondering
What
what's the
exactly is the
connection.
problem?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went to see the neurosurgeon, he just looked at the films and then told us, you have a tumor.
Wow, that's crazy.
We were shocked.
You were with your husband.
Yeah, I was with my husband. We had only learnt about tumors through cancers, had stories,
I
but
know.
we didn't know it was here and now with us. But again, we didn't know what was to follow. Was such a lot of drama for our lives. I mean, it's something we
You
had
are
not.
newlywed.
Yeah, we had not expected. So it was also another journey that was not easy.
Okay.
Yeah, because what the doctor said, he said, let me give you these drugs to try and shrink the tumor.
Okay.
And that was also, we just took the drugs and got out of his office to just go.
Help.
First of all, go and synthesize the news.
Okay.
And then embark on the medical journey of taking the drugs and hoping
That will
the
shrink
tumor would shrink. But quite interesting, instead of the tumor shrinking, it wasn't shrinking at all.
It was constant, like it.
Yes, it was just there.
That's
And
so
then another
sad.
thing I started experiencing was multiple symptoms. Now there were two things. We have the tumor and we have the drugs that I was using.
So, did you start experiencing multiple symptoms after taking the drugs?
Absolutely, yes.
That's
Absolutely. Yeah, and they weren't interesting because at one moment I would have a slurred speech, memory loss. And then the tumor, it was macro means a bigger tumor. So where it was at the base of the head. But at one time, it was putting pressure on my optic nerve. So at some point, I also lost sight. So my
That's
husband
sad.
had to handhold me.
So you
You need
had-
a guide. And then I would have hallucinations. These ones I would attribute to the drugs I was taking.
That's sad.
And
Really
then
sad.
I became huge because the drugs I was using were steroids. So that was the drama. Suddenly. So the drama came with a lot of things. One, you're newly married.
Yeah.
Two, you don't have a baby.
And you can't have children.
Yes.
You don't know what the
What's
problem
next?
is.
Now you're getting this life-threatening illness that
You have
has
a
crazy
tumor in the
symptoms.
brain.
Yeah. And now each time we'd go back to the doctor, he tried all he could. But that was as far as he could do it.
Yeah, I believe having a tumor in the brain is not something easy.
It isn't. It isn't, because out of it I also learned a brain is something like a porridge. So when you have a tumor in it, it's a foreign matter. And when you touch the brain, it becomes mad a bit before it settles down. And that's why all manner of things you'd experience in the drama of
Okay.
anything called a brain tumor per
Okay.
se.
Okay.
But we had to have hope, because hoping against hope that something would come by,
Yeah.
and out of it
Something really
actually
necessary.
something came out.
Okay.
I would just say, because I'm a believer in God,
Okay.
God now just sent somebody for me to rescue me. So the last conversation we had with the neurosurgeon, he just told us, I've done all I can. That was 3 months down the line.
Okay. You are taking the medicine now.
Yeah, I'm taking the medicine,
There's no
nothing.
change.
Yeah, and each time I come, I'm becoming worse and worse. So even for him now, he didn't know what next. And that is why I said, when you have hope, somehow God creates a way. So there was this neurosurgeon who was coming from Spain for an exchange program. So the doctor just said, prepare yourself, in 2 weeks' time, there's a neurosurgeon flying in from Spain.
Okay.
We can just have his opinion,
Okay.
just as a by the way. And so when he came, from Monday till Thursday, I tried getting in touch with him. They were very busy because it was an exchange program, so they had a lot of lined up surgeries. So I only managed to get hold of him on Thursday. One nurse just looked at my desperation. She picked my films and then tagged me along in one of the theaters. So this neurosurgeon from Spain just looked at the films and then he said, book her in for surgery tomorrow.
Wow.
Yes.
That is good.
And
That
it's
is good
amazing
news.
because for me, he just came for me.
He was the hope that you were looking for.
He was the hope that I was looking for.
Wow.
He booked me in from 7 to 1.
Okay.
That was in June 2009.
7 to 1.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, from 7 o'clock to 1 is
Okay.
when I was wheeled out of the theater. And I even don't know his name. He was my guardian angel. God just commanded him. To death, I've never met him.
Are you
And
serious?
he flew back. Yes.
You have never met
We
him?
have never met him. I even don't know his name.
And you didn't go to ask the...
I went, after some time, I went back to the Kenyan doctor.
Yeah.
He just told me I'll look for it, but it's been years. You can imagine, from 2009
What
till
about the
now.
nurse?
Well, I never thought about it. You know, at that moment, I had been unwell, and now coming from a major operation in between, and apparently that was his last day. So
Okay.
he booked his flight and left. He He finished the surgery at 1, and by 4 p.m. he flew out of
I think he was sent for
country.
you.
He was sent for me.
Yeah, that is good news.
Yes, and so out of it, miracle number 1 happened. The operation was done in June. In July, I was able to conceive. And so I have my daughter.
Goodness.
She's
So
called
it's
Diamond.
blessings after blessings.
Yes. She's called Diamond Judy. Diamond, out of the attributes of a diamond, because a diamond is formed under high pressure.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is rare and it is hard and many other attributes. So we just named her Diamond because of what we had gone through, and God was gracious enough to give us this girl.
Okay.
Yes.
That is a huge blessing.
It is.
That is really, really a huge blessing considering what you had gone through.
It is.
So if I may ask, when the surgery was done, was that the end of it all? Like the tumor, Elisha?
For a little while I got better because immediately I also conceived my second born child, whom we named Jewel. But about 4 years down the line, again, I started experiencing the same symptoms I was experiencing in 2009.
The tumor was back?
The tumor was threatening to grow again.
Same place?
Same place.
Wow.
But now this time I was wiser. I didn't just want to sit down and allow it arrive. I had to fight back.
Okay.
So I went back to my doctor. He referred me to several doctors in Kenya. But after some discussion, we agreed that I needed to go to India simply because of the specialized equipment in India.
Okay.
Yeah, because out of technology, they are a little bit way ahead of us in terms of research and technology. So 2015, again, I had to fly in India for surgery. This time, it was stereotactic.
Okay.
Together with radiotherapy.
All right.
And while I was in India, because at the beginning you asked the transformation that happened to my life, that is where I got a turnaround in my life.
That is good news.
Yeah, because we were gathered in India, Hyderabad, the southern part of India. So many of us, we had gone there.
With the same problem?
Not really, but having people from different walks of life converging there because of illness. Then I discovered, by the way, some made and some never made it. Some just didn't make it. They went back to their home and immediately they passed on.
Wow.
But then I realized life without you being healthy is such a useless thing. Health is such a nerve center. I mean, you can have a lot of money, but if you don't have health, you don't have it. You can have a big title, but if you don't have your health, that's nothing. And when you're sick, you're unable even to go to the simple place like a bathroom, go to the toilet, eat on your own and do your own things. Then that is something.
We can simply say health is beyond expensive.
It is beyond expensive. And that is why out of it, I got an impression on my heart to inspire women who are going through hard times that just be hopeful. And there are ways and techniques of handling it.
It's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. Because I remember when I got the news that I had a tumor, I didn't know what would happen next. And remembering I had given my life to Christ earlier on, I would ask so many questions like, why me?
Where did you go wrong?
Where did I go wrong? Why did it have to be me?
I can imagine.
Yeah, but over time I've come to realize whatever we are going through is predestined by God.
Yeah.
And sometimes, even in the suffering, there's a purpose and a reason.
There's a reason.
And out of it, the pain always has a purpose for it. And you don't just go through pain for nothing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't learn anything in your pain, it is even more painful.
Yeah.
Because next time you'll get another challenge or a bigger one than that. If you never learnt your lessons well in
Yeah.
your foundational painful season, you may never know why this other one is coming.
Very
And
true.
in the process, you may abort the real reason why it has to come to you. So 2015, we left and went. We had the surgery. And this time round, we had the little babies. They were below
They
5
joined
years.
you.
Yeah. No, we didn't go with them. We had to
Okay.
look for people to look after them
All
while we
right.
were out.
But it was really great to have, you already
Yeah.
have your children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But having them and being a mother, again, leaving them, people are really like, you shouldn't go.
It's a
How are you
challenge.
leaving your children?
Uh-huh.
But I realized that I needed to be strong to be there for
Yeah.
them. And so I just made up my mind and said, I have to go for their sake.
You need to survive for
Yeah, I needed to be well for them.
them. Okay.
Yeah, and I also thank God the surgery went on well. We came back again. I embarked on the recovery journey.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was able to bounce back well. Now, from 2015, all was going well, on, off, but I've been managing. Sometimes the
Okay.
doctors tell me whether to be on drugs, sometimes they wean me off.
Okay.
And I really thank God for
Up to
that.
now?
Up to now.
Okay.
Now, however, when I thought all was well, last year again, 2021, in December, I started again experiencing crazy symptoms in my body. Again, nowadays I don't wait. So I started running around doctor after doctor. This doctor tells you carry out this test, this
Yeah.
one again, this one. So at one point, the results again were not conclusive. Okay, they were saying we are not picking what it is, but there's something amiss with your system. And I've always kept my doctors in India. I'm always in touch.
Okay.
So when I gave them the results, they just told me, come and we do a diagnostic check. If you're well, you just fly back. So in 2022, April, I flew again to
Okay.
India. So when we ran the PET scan, they were able to detect two things that were unusual. Of course, in Kenya, they had thought I had a lump in my breast. Maybe
Okay.
it was developing into a breast cancer.
Okay, wait a minute. When this 2021,
Yes.
when you began to get the symptoms, you went to the hospital.
Yes.
There was no brain tumor.
No. We didn't run. The scans didn't show brain tumor.
But there was something else that you couldn't tell.
There was something else that I couldn't tell. Initially, actually, I had just gone for my normal checkup. Then when the doctor was having a feel, she felt something like a mass on my breast.
Okay.
Then she got concerned. But I would say my journeys have just been miraculous because you see, when a doctor picks something and she pushes for you to have a conclusive results about it, yet when you run, clearly the results are not conclusive, but
Yeah.
something else is picked. So I realized that it's very good to be keen and have that intuitive ear, because sometimes the doctor could be saying something, yet it is not what it is, but there's something else. So that's what happened in this instance. So we went to India again with my husband. So because what was presenting was something like a lump.
On the breast.
Yeah, so we had to run a PET scan. Now, interestingly, the PET scan picked two items.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's also a tumor, but this time it is a smaller tumor
On
called
the breast.
no, on the brain. It's called meningioma. So this one, they said we will not touch it. And then there was also another lump on my throat on the right side. So after the many biopsies and discussions, we agreed, we handled with what they feel it needs to be done away with. So I was able to go in for a surgery again. So they did a half thyroid surgery.
So the thyroid had a problem.
It had a problem. It had a lump in it.
Okay.
So they were able to remove the right side of it. Then I came back, and God helped me. I went back to work.
That was 2021.
2022,
Okay.
May. So I've been journeying on well. And then this year, in March, again, as I go to sleep, I've had a week of doing so many things.
That is last month.
Yes. I start feeling something funny on the left side of my heart. And I just walk in hospital, they do their tests, they tell me, the results are not conclusive. So I have a place where I always go, where I have doctors who manage me. So again, we ran our tests, and then when they did the echo, they also found there's something amiss kidogo with the left part of my heart. The left ventricle is putting pressure on the lungs. We ran all the MRIs to try and get the reason why, but again, the results have not been conclusive. So last week, I just went for review. I'm on heavy drugs, but I'm happy to report that the doctor said I'm responding well. And I'll be due for another review next month.
Okay.
But Rosalia, what I want to tell you is this. It's not that I'm a lucky one. It's just that God has helped me to have hope in this journey. And that is why I speak to these women who are going through life-threatening illness, that sometimes you can be given even a worse diagnosis.
Okay.
And sometimes we leave it on the table and you already start walking towards your grave. But remember, you still have a life to live. So
That's true.
out of my journey, I have learned to live a day at a time. That today we are here. Thank God for it. Let's give it our best.
That's true.
We don't know about tomorrow.
That's true.
But for so long as we have today, let us give it
That's
our
all
all.
that matters right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Allow me to ask. You spoke about your husband.
Yes.
I want to ask you two things about your family
Yes.
and your husband and that particular time. 5 years with no child in our African homes.
Oh,
you are
yeah.
newly married.
Yes.
5 years
Yes.
and you have no child.
Yes.
That is not a joke, because I've seen families fight women because they can't bear children. But from your story, I have seen support. Your husband has been there for you until the time you are blessed with children,
Yes.
which came in as a thanksgiving moment for the both of you. But that one is a rare case, especially in our African communities and in our country, Kenya.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I want to start by saying, over and above all, children are a gift from God.
That's true.
It is only Him who gives us children. And we are only stewards for Him. Because, interestingly, the pressure that I used to get was not even from my family or husband,
Okay.
but from the society.
My goodness.
Yes. You just meet people in the streets, after greeting you, it's like, you're taking too long to give us children. My own family was very supportive.
I love that.
My husband's family, they were very supportive. Of course,
That's
they
a
were
rare
just
one.
concerned, but they never gave me those eyes of,
You know,
you're a stranger,
you
or
need to have
putting
children
pressure.
ASAP.
Yes. And my husband was also very supportive.
Wow.
Because we being Christians, we subscribe to God and we knew children are a gift from God. And that alone made us be strong. But from outside, we got pressure. So I would also want to talk to couples who are not having children.
They're struggling.
They're struggling. Sometimes the two of you need to make peace. Because if you don't, the pressure from outside will make you crumble. And I want to repeat again, children are a blessing from God. Sometimes we don't have a right to have them.
Yeah, that's true.
We are only custodians. And it's God who chooses who to give and who not to give.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we even take it further. In the African society, people say, like, if you have girls, you should have had boys.
I know.
A child is
They
a
put
child.
pressure on
yeah,
you.
a child is a child before God. So that would be my remark for that.
I am really, really, really glad. And honestly, I love your family.
Thank you.
Like, that's a rare thing.
Thank you.
African community, you don't have a child in 2,
Yeah.
3 years. Someone is brought in to replace you when you
Absolutely.
are still there.
There.
You know,
Leave
the
alone
stigma.
that the stigma, the disrespect they would show you, they'll call you names. I think there's a lot we need to unlearn from the African society. Because you can have all the good values and all the good qualities, but simply because you never got a child. And remember, like in my case, I didn't do anything wrong, like aborting.
It was not your wish that
Yes.
you don't have a child.
Absolutely. So I didn't even need to carry the blame. Yet people would name you names, you know, have places sit you at the agenda.
I know.
Yet you're so innocent. So I think we have a lot to unlearn on that one, because let's embrace our women. And even motherhood is not about biology only.
That's true.
There are so many other people you can mother, even in your workplace, in your places of gathering, in your
true.
community. Yeah, motherhood shouldn't just be pegged on giving birth.
The fact that you can give birth. That's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just because you can give birth
Yes.
doesn't make you a mother, actually.
It doesn't.
Yeah, there's so much
There's
into
so much
motherhood.
into it.
Yeah. In this journey, you have told us a series of journeys
Yes.
that were not so good, that can be so discouraging, that to some people they wouldn't be able to take it. The transformation and the change, how did it affect you? And how has it made the person that you are today? Because I believe that you are not the person that you were before you knew you were unwell, you couldn't have a child. That, you know, and I know there are a lot of changes.
Oh, yes, Rosalia. And thank you for that question, because first of all, we wouldn't even be seated here.
That's true.
But most importantly, the transformation that has occurred in my life is to really value life
Yeah.
and value people. Value life and value people. Some people draw their happiness out of material things. But I draw my happiness from within
Okay.
and from God.
Okay.
And this has been my message, that you have a pulse today. Be grateful.
Yeah.
You may not have a big Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You may not have that big house. But the fact that you're alive today, you're able to breathe, you're able to walk. Wow, that's something to be
That's
grateful
something to
for.
be grateful
There's
for.
even a chapter I've not captured on how I suffered COVID twice.
Wow.
And it was a time I also realized, you know, in being isolation,
It's not a joke.
it's stigmatization in itself. Yeah, we need to enjoy each other.
That's true.
We need to be
The
relational.
fact that we can talk like this.
Yes. So there's a lot of value in life. And so I've learned to value life,
And appreciate it.
appreciate it. I've also learned to have mercy on somebody who is unwell. Because just being at that point of, you have to rely on others to help you.
That's true.
It's the really lowest point you can be. But again, even in that lowest point that looks like it is the end, it is always not the end. There's even just that smile you can offer, and it becomes hope to somebody.
That's true.
Yeah, and out of it, I've also authored my book. This is one of the books. I'm authoring many.
The diamond,
The Diamond Underneath. I've captured my life events in it. Resilience in times of crisis.
Okay.
And health, being unwell, is one of the hardest crises one can be in. As I've said, you can have a lot of money, you may not be able to enjoy it. It is like a heart nerve. But the greatest health comes again from God. Yes, because unless you're well mentally, right now we have a lot of mental issues.
That's true.
Socially, if physically you're not well, you won't be able to enjoy this
That's
life.
true.
Yeah, so sometimes it's not even bought by money, but it is something that is very valuable for one to have it. Yes. Thank you.
Wow, that is good. The diamond and underneath.
Yes.
Guys, that is Margaret Abukutsa.
Yes, that's
I
my
call
name.
her Engineer Margaret.
Yes.
And that's a story of resilience,
Yes.
a story of hope, a story of not giving up,
Yes.
and all that put together in one book, The Diamond Underneath. Please, Margaret, tell us, how can we get, if someone wants this book, how can we get it? I believe this one is mine.
That one is yours, definitely.
I need to
Yeah,
go through
we've
it.
stocked it on Nuria.
Okay.
It is on Amazon.
Okay.
But you can also reach out to me. You can have it couriered to where you are.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook,
Okay.
Margaret Abukutsa.
Okay.
Instagram, Margaret Abukutsa. LinkedIn, Margaret Abukutsa. My email is still margaretabukutsa@gmail.com.
All right.
Yes.
This is a beautiful read, guys, and this is a copy of mine, and you need to purchase yours too. As in, we all want hope, we all want resilience, and we all want to live a life that we do not give up, because we are living in tough times. You know, it may not be illness that you're going through. It could be something else that is making you give up today. And this book, it's a book that you can read that is going to encourage you. The story of Margaret is not just another story, it's a story that will encourage you to keep going on, keep moving on. Do not give up. Do not stop doing what you are doing right now. Just because something is challenging today doesn't mean that it's the end of the road. Okay, guys, this is The Talk with Rosalia. See you next time. We love you.
Thank you.